been a while since I've gotten to make a video about Funimation, but here we are. I have a reason to. So this is the 30th anniversary box set, the complete edition of Dragon Ball Z. So if you remember, this was announced, I think, back in May. They put up the pre-orders for these. They ran it like a crowdfunder, said we got to sell 6,000. They're $350. What was the big seller for this? That they were going to have it in its original aspect ratio of 4:3. That was the big drawing point. Because if you didn't know, we haven't had a 4:3 version of Dragon Ball Z since the Dragon boxes got released. The orange bricks, the Blu-ray releases, those are all widescreen. 16:9 is not the way the series is supposed to look. They had to do massive changes to make that happen. They've literally milked the Dragon Ball fans with release after release of this series, and they've all been bad. I've got a lot of screenshots to show you. I've got some examples of scratched discs. A lot of people are getting scratched discs because it's a $350 release. But what are they doing? They're throwing all of these discs. There's a lot of discs too, by the way, 37 of them, all of them in cardboard. So a lot of them are coming up scratched. Got some pictures of scratched discs and bad customer service. This is a wreck. But some people are praising it, but they're praising it for the wrong reasons. So this is a very bad release. Funimation, once again, milking the customer, giving them a garbage release, trying to call this a definitive version. But there's a reason I want to make this video. And that's because if you go over to eBay, people bought these up and they're throwing them on eBay for a lot of money. $650. Look at this guy trying to sell it for $1,000. That's not going to happen, pal. We got one here at $800. This one is bidding, so this has got 5 days left. That'll probably go up. This is actually the cheapest, $650 for buy it now. The cheapest earlier today was $720 right there. That was the cheapest one at the time. So when I want to do this video, because Christmas is coming, and I don't want hype to get up on this. No one's really made any videos on this. I'm surprised. So I want to show you why this is a garbage release. And if you really want to have the series, you're better off just buying Kai. If you don't want to get into that argument, then just buy the Blu-rays that are the season sets. You're really getting the same thing. Okay, so we're going to start right here. On the right, you have the Blu-ray season set, and on the left, you have the 30th anniversary Blu-ray. Now, you'll say, oh, the one on the right's clear, sharper. You're missing detail, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But on the left, you'll notice there's grain. The thing is, it's really the same picture. They just added grain to it, and I think they dialed the digital noise reduction down a tad. But in some cases, it looks really bad. So I don't know. I think they dialed it up. I think they turned the digital noise reduction up, made the picture worse, and then they put this grain filter on it to kind of throw you off. This is fake grain, and I'm going to show you why. So I went to Twitter, saw Anime AJ was tweeting about this. Now, I've never interacted with him. Probably doesn't like me, considering the whole Vic stuff. That's fine. I don't have a problem with the guy. I don't think he really went hard on anybody. But he does seem to know what he's talking about. He did a really good video on this release months ago. And he's on here talking about it right now. So he says, how do I know the grain is fake? Because there are just the season sets uncropped with some color adjustments. You can compare the DNR effects, and they're identical. If the grain was real, it wouldn't move independently from the dancing shading either. And he shows some pictures here, and you can kind of see what he's talking about. So he adds here, I can add my own fake grain to the season sets, and it looks like the 30th results. Level sets example for a look at what mild degraining actually looks like. Contrary to popular belief, even the level sets had noise reduction, and it was done well. The level sets are actually a proper remaster with the footage they had, but it was too costly, so they stopped doing those. Those were originally on Blu-ray, but they were only like 3 or 4 episodes a piece. They actually canceled those and then came out with the season set Blu-rays. And here's what he's talking about, where he adds some grain. Looks the same. So the artificial noise, that's fake grain, was kind of a I was kind of unsure about it because I watched a couple videos, because there's not a lot of examples out there just yet, because there's only 6,000 of these in existence. So it took some time for proper examples to come up. I wanted to make sure, because I actually had been looking into this a few days ago, but I wanted to see some more examples, and I'm pretty satisfied now that I think I can safely say that the grain in this is 100% fake. If you go to @AnimeAJ, you can go look at his thread and you can see all the examples he shows you to why that's fake grain. I'm pretty confident that it's fake. They just plastered it on there to make it look old, because this is a show from the 90s and the 80s. So it's old. It should look old. And when you try to make it look new and you do it half-assed, this is what happens. On the left, you have the famous orange bricks, a very lazy remaster process where they slapped it into a machine and just had it automatically do DNR to it, and they didn't really even check anything. And then you have the $350 collector's edition on the right. Take a look at that. You paid $350 for this. Do you see how bad that looks? Look at the detail missing in Gohan's face. It looks like a mess. They should be embarrassed for putting this out. This is terrible. I mean, this is embarrassing. This is supposed to be a collector's edition. People paid a lot of money for this. $350 is a lot of money. And they did it, without even a release date back in May. Just randomly started shipping out, I think like last week. So somebody asked him about these visual effects, and he says, it still looks awful. Seems there's a layer of artificial grain, but that does absolutely nothing to restore what was obliterated in the first place. Everything I said back when this was announced still stands. And I read an interesting theory on a forum where they said they think they added the fake grain to it because of his videos. And I think that's probably dead on. His video on this got like almost 300,000 views. I think it got more than that. It was a pretty popular video. But you can see right here, Piccolo looks really washed out. Now you go down here. Here's the interesting thing that I don't think a lot of people know. This is from Dragon Ball Kai. So Dragon Ball Kai, like it or not, that footage, I believe, was taken from the masters at Toei. This is what Piccolo's supposed to look like. He's supposed to be light green. But every Funimation release that we've had, it screws him up so bad, he ends up this dark green color. That's not what he's supposed to look like. He's supposed to look like this. But unless you've properly seen the show, which I think the only way that we've seen it, unless you were buying fan subs way back in the day, is through the Dragon Box. Or if you've been watching Dragon Ball Kai, you get to see Piccolo's actual color. But if you're watching this 30th anniversary edition, well, you're going back to that dark green Piccolo. Here's something even funnier about the set. So you're not even really getting 4x3. Check this out. So we've got the 2013 Blu-ray and the level sets. Now, I believe the level sets were actually in 4x3. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I believe they were. They're very rare. There's only like a couple of them until they canceled it. Those were the best versions of whatever we were going to get as far as a proper Funimation restoration of the series, even though it still wouldn't have been that good because literally it's a universal copy that I believe Toei gives out. I don't know the details on it, but it's an inferior version. Funimation has never had like proper masters from what I believe. But either way, you see here 30th anniversary version in purple and then the level sets in orange. You see how much you're losing? You're already still losing just from them zooming in on the picture. I mean, this is ridiculous. $350 you paid for this. And if you still get hyped up on it and decide you want to go buy it secondhand, you're going to have to spend $700 and something bucks. Don't do it. Here's another example that I can show you. So here's the 30th anniversary. Here's a rip from the Dragon Box. And you say, well, that Dragon Box, that image is kind of blurry. That's because it's in standard definition. The Dragon Ball Kai version is largely the same image. Here you can just kind of see the difference. Check that out. That's terrible. And you go to the level set, you still see it's still green, but he's not as dark green as he is here. It's a little bit lighter. Then you go to the season Blu-ray where you have no grain at all. So I believe if Anime AJ hadn't made that video he made, it would have looked like this. I think they went in and they added that grain from watching his video so that they could say, oh, hey, look, you're getting the real version here. This is the real version. This is what we should have got. Instead, we got this. And here's a picture I've seen pop up on a few websites. Look at this picture. This is one of the discs from the collection. You see that big, long scratch? There were other examples, too. A lot of people posting about that. Got a story over on Reddit. So I received my 30th anniversary set, and some parts of it are damaged. The top of the art book is ripped slightly at the spine, and the outer box that houses the Blu-rays are damaged. I'm really disappointed that for $350, Funimation couldn't have sprung for some bubble wrap. The packing material is just brown paper. The book was just sitting at the bottom with nothing protecting it, but a plastic wrap. I plan on emailing Funimation's store at Funimation and attaching pictures of the damage. Can they send replacement parts? I don't even want a refund. I just want a non-damaged product. I'm just worried that with the limited nature of the set, it might be impossible. Sorry for your luck. Mine came in today, and the art book was hanging out of the shipping box. One side totally got crunched. Safe to say, I'm disappointed. And there were tons of examples like this out there. Tons of examples. I had to dig around to find them because, well, there's only 6,000 of these in existence, and I would say it's a safe bet that a lot of them probably aren't going to get online and talk about it. So, in closing, don't buy this secondhand. It's not worth the money. It's not worth $650, whatever it's going to. This is the cheapest one on there right now. It was going for like $750. I think one sold at $800. So don't buy this. If you really want it, I'm sure they'll release it in like parts down the road. In fact, given their history of milking Dragon Ball fans, I'd say that it's absolutely going to happen. So in closing, I'm not shocked. I kind of figured this was going to happen, and I've been waiting for this to get released so I could see if I was going to regret not getting this, because I do wish I had a 4x3 version in HD. This isn't it. Looks like I'm going to stick to Kai for now. That's honestly the only way you can really watch the show and get the correct colors anymore. I don't know if they're ever going to release the Dragon Box again. I don't know. But Funimation, what a surprise that they go cheap. Cheap packaging, cheap materials for your discs. Discs are showing up all scratched up for some people. One guy had a hell of a time getting a hold of them on one thread. Pages he was talking about for days, how he was going to just call his credit card company and do a chargeback because he couldn't get a hold of them. They wouldn't call him back. They wouldn't email him back. Cheap products, cheap materials, cheap company. They don't care. I don't care about them. Funimation, you're trash. I wish you would lose the Dragon Ball license. I really do, so that maybe somebody else could get it and give us something with some actual care. You obviously don't care about the community. You never did. And you've been showing that all year. This is just the cherry on top. Anyway, leave me your comments. What do you think about Funimation? What do you think about this product? Are you surprised? Did you pick it up? Are you happy with it? If you're happy with it, cool. I'm just informing people because I don't want people to go out and buy that $700 secondhand box. Don't get it. All right, so leave me a comment and a like. Those really help out the video. Those help growth, help the channel. Also, share the video if you would. I don't see a lot of people talking about this, so I wanted to make this video for that reason. And, hit that subscription bell or notification bell and then hit the subscription button. Give that a click. Make sure you're still subscribed, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that and subscribe if you're new. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.